Good morning, Collective. I'm reading. I just opened the Bible at this morning, so I'm going to read it to you. Lamentations, Lamentations. Number 1. It's page. Oh, it doesn't have page numbers on it. Oh, it does. Yes, it does. Sorry. What is it? 863. How deserted lies the city, once so full of people, how like a widow she is, who was once great amongst the nations, and who was queen among the provinces, is now become a slave. Bitter she weeps at night, tears on her cheeks, among all her lovers. There is no one to comfort her, all her friends have betrayed her, and they have become her enemies. After affliction of and harsh labour, Judah has gone to exile. She dwells amongst the nations, she finds no resting place. All who pursue her have overtaken her in the midst of her distress. The roads of Zion mourn, for no one comes to her. Appointed festivals, all her gateways are desolate. Her priests groan, her young woman grieve, and she is in bitter anguish. She foes have become her masters, her enemies at her ease. The Lord has brought her grief because her many sins. Her children have gone to exile, captive before the foe. All the splendour has departed from daughter Zion. Her princes are like deer that found no pasture. In weakness they have fled before the pursuer. In days of her affliction and wanderings, Jerusalem remains all the treasures that were hers in the days of old. When her people fell into the enemy's hands... Oh, I thought I hadn't turned it on. There it is on. Sorry. I was going to say I haven't recorded the fucking thing. It is recording good. Okay, so... When her people fell into enemy hands, there was no one to help her. Her enemies looked at her, the language at her destruction, and laughed at her destruction. You see? Jerusalem has sinned greatly, and so has become unclean. All who dishonour her despise her, for they have all seen her naked. She herself groans and turns away. Her filthiness clung to her skirts. She did not consider her future. Her fall was astonishing. There was none to comfort her. Lord, look at on my afflictions, for empty has triumphed. For the enemy has triumphed. Really? The enemy lay hands on all her treasures. She was pagan nations enter her sanctuary, those who had forbidden to enter your assembly. All her people groan as they search for bread. They barter their treasures for food. They keep themselves alive. Lord, look and consider, for I am despised. Is it nothing to you? All you who pass by, look around and see. Is any suffering like my suffering that was inflicted upon thee? The Lord brought me to the day of the fierce anger. From the high he sent fire, sent down into my bones. He spread a net for my feet and turned me back. He made me a desolate, faint all the day long. My sins have been bound into the yoke. By his hand they were woven together. They have been hung on my neck, and the Lord has zapped my strength. He has given me into the hands for those I cannot withstand. The Lord has rejected all the warriors in my midst. He has summoned an army against me to crush my young men. He has winepressed. The Lord has trampled. Virgin daughter Judah. This is why I weep and my eyes overflow with tears. No one is near to comfort me, no one to restore my spirit. My children are destitute because of the enemy has prevailed. Zion stretches out her hands. There is no one to comfort her. The Lord has decreed for Jacob that his neighbours become his foe. Jerusalem has become an unclean thing among them. The Lord is righteous, yet I rebel against his command. Listening, all you peoples, look on my suffering. My young men and my young women have gone to exile. I call my allies, but they betray me. My priests and my elders perish in the city while they search for food and keep themselves alive. See, Lord, how distressed I am. I am tormented within, and in my heart I am disturbed, for I have been most rebellious. Outside the sword bereaveth, inside only is death. People have heard my groaning, but there is no one to comfort me. All my enemies have heard my distress, they rejoice at what you have done. May you bring the day you have announced, so that they may become like me. All their wickedness come before you, deal with them as you have dealt with me because of all my sins. My groans are many and my heart is faint. Shall we to read some more? Shall we go to number 2, Daughter of Zion? I'm not suffering. I'm just saying. My glasses are just bent. That's all I'm suffering with. How the Lord has covered daughter Zion with the cloud of his anger. He has hurled down the splendour of Israel from heaven to earth. He has not remembered his footstool in the day of his anger. Without pity, the Lord has swallowed up all the dwellings of Jacob with his wrath. He has torn down the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He has brought her kingdom and his princes down to the ground in dishonour. My business is closing down and all that. In fierce anger, he has cut off every horn of Israel. He has withdrawn his right hand to the approach of the enemy. He has burned in Jacob like a flaming fire that consumes everything around it. Like an enemy, he has strung his bow. His right hand is ready. Like a foe, he has slain. All those were pleasing to the eye. He has poured out his wrath of fire on the tent of daughter Zion. The Lord is like an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He has swallowed up their palaces and destroyed their strongholds. He has multiplied mourning and lamentations of the daughter of Judah. He has laid waste in his dwelling like a garden. He has destroyed his place of meeting. The Lord has made Zion forget her appointed festivals and her Sabbaths. In her fierce anger, he has spurned both king and priest. The Lord has rejected his altar and abandoned his sanctuary. He has given the walls of her palaces into the hands of the enemy. They have shouted in the house of the Lord as on the day of appointed festival. The Lord determined to tear down the walls of the daughter of Zion. He has stretched out and measured lines and did not withhold his hand from destroying them. He may ran past the walls, limited edition, oh God, limited companies. Together they wasted away. Her gate has sunk into the ground, loose lips sink ships. The bars has gone and been destroyed. The king and the prince are exiled among the nations. The law is no more, and her prophets no longer find vision from the Lord. If you betrayed one of the chosen ones, this is your destiny. In other words, the elders of the daughter of Zion sit on the ground in silence. They have sprinkled dust on their heads and put on sackcloth. The young women from Jerusalem have bowed their heads to the ground. People can't speak because they doesn't look, and their eyes fail for weeping. I am tormented within my heart and poured out the ground because many people are destroyed. Because you came across chosen ones. Do not touch thy anointed. I did warn you. I've spent 2 years warning you. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. My God, you've done it. I told them the other night. You've done it now. My eyes fail from weeping as I am in torment within. My heart is poured out to the ground because my people are destroyed. Because children and infants in the streets of the cities. They say to their mothers, where is bread and wine, as they faint like the wounded on the streets of the city, as their lives ebbed away from their mother's arms. Stolen children. What can I say for you? With what can I compare to you, daughter of Jerusalem? What can I liken you? That I may comfort you, virgin daughter of Zion, your wound is as deep as the sea. Who can heal you? The versions of the prophet, who false and worthless, they did not expose your sin to ward off the capacity, and the prophecies they have given you were false and misleading. All who pass your way clap their hands at you and scoff and shake their heads, daughter of Jerusalem's. In the city that they call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth, your enemies open their mouths wide against you. They scoff and garnish their teeth, and say, we have swallowed her up. This is the day we have waited for, we have lived to see. 866 on the book page. The Lord has done what he has planned. He has fulfilled his word, which is decreed long ago. He has overgrown you without pity. He has let your enemy gloat over you. He has exalted the horn of your foes. The heart of the people cry out to the Lord. The walls of the daughter of Zion, let your tears flow like a river, night and day. Give yourself no relief, your eyes have no rest. Arise, cry out in the night, and the watches of the night begin. Pour out your hearts like water in the presence of the Lord. Lift up your hands to him, and live with your children who faint from hunger at every street corner. Lord, look and consider, whom have you ever treated like this? Should women eat their offspring and children they have cared for? Should priests and prophets be killed in the sanctuary of the Lord? Young and old together in the dust of the streets, the young men and the women have fallen by the sword and have slain them into the day of anger. You have slaughtered them without pity. As you summons the feast day, so you summons against me terror on every side. In the day of the Lord's anger, no one escaped or survived. Those who cared for and reared my enemies has been destroyed or will be destroyed. I'm going to leave that there today. I just thought I'd come in and do that. So that's the city of sin. Many cities of sins. Anyway, God bless. You're welcome. I'm going to probably just relax today. Enjoy yourself. It's Thursday.